What's up, guys? Today, we're back with another video. Same day, yes, recording a bunch of videos in one day. Um, we're gonna be reacting to "Do All High Schoolers Think the Same?" It's by Jubilee again, and let's get into it.
Wow, what job is he gonna have? He knows more about scrolling to the next video than anything that will help him get a job.
Zesty. Okay.
High schoolers are kids. 3, 2, 1.
Got the foam runners on. Yeah. Okay. First off the bat, high schoolers. I wouldn't say that they're kids, but I wouldn't say that they're adults because you're. I mean, you could say for a college, college. Well, no, because you have to be like 18 or something in college. So, yeah, no, I wouldn't say they're a kid, but I wouldn't say that they're an adult.
I feel like to say high schoolers in general are
Teenager.
kids is almost like defeating the people who are in the minority. Like for people like me who have grown up more just mature for my age and I guess fitting more an adult mindset, I feel like I can't say for myself that I'm a kid because I definitely make adult decisions time and time.
He's the type of person to go spray paint some a penis on a wall.
Time again. I mean, there are people who still have the mindset of kids, but I can't say high schoolers in general are kids.
I feel like with high school, it's such a broad statement to say high schoolers because there's a giant difference between a freshman and a senior. That's why when they try to date each other, it's like, why is that 18-year-old trying to date the 14-year-old? It just doesn't make sense. I feel like it would be naive to ignore the fact that especially anyone.
Hey, I mean, 17, 13, we can make that a difference. I mean, give me 4 more years. I mean, I'll be same age as you. Just don't get old. I mean, shoo, slide the snap, baby.
Who's a senior, they're about to be a legal adult.
I think kids need mentoring. That's how I see it. I mean, adults too need mentoring, but I think kids need that extra help and that extra push. I've seen many kids who have been forced to be older or act older as they are to mature faster. That's why I went for agree.
Yeah. No ad. Bro, I need to get like an ad blocker or something. Shoo.
Yeah, go for it.
I didn't
Talk
even
us
know if I
through. What are you
could.
thinking?
Well, I agree. I feel like there's just so many decisions, especially in high school, that we have to make that are not kid-like, and they expect us to act a certain way. And also the fact that we're even able to drive, how should we still be considered a kid?
Do you mind if I move? Yeah.
Zesty.
I moved because I feel like, especially at that 16 to 18 age, you're constantly planning for your future where it's actually difficult to live in your childhood. It's just you're unable to live as a child. So it's how can you consider yourself one when you're constantly planning for your adult life and future?
When I was a freshman, all the teachers around me always told me that I needed to prepare for my future. And I feel like, especially coming after online school and quarantine, I'm still living in that middle schooler mindset. I'm still basically like a kid living and preparing for my future, which I'm clearly not ready for.
I feel like kid is kind of a weird word, so it's just kid and adult. And I feel like in high school, I kind of want to be thought of as a kid, because it's kind of like, oh, he's a kid, right? It's like an excuse almost. You're allowed to mess up. I really can't look at my classes full of 18-year-olds and say, these are adults. I feel like now it's later and later we're turning into adults. I don't feel like we turn in, I mean, of course there's people that have to pay bills at 16, but to say a high schooler is an adult, I feel like I like to know that I can grow so much more from now. Oh, I did that when I was a kid, not, as an adult.
Yeah, no. Valid. I mean, really, just like in my last video, go watch that. Nathan, he had a little bit of mess ups, but I don't know. I feel like this kid, I didn't get his name, but this kid, he's valid.
Today's high schoolers have it harder than previous generations.
No, not at all. This is so easy. I don't know, back in the day, they would whoop you, man. They would just straight up put you on their knee and pow and whoop
3,
your butt.
2, 1, go.
Wow. That's just crazy.
I feel like now our generation,
First of all, technology. I mean, whoa. Kids back in the day when they were in high school, any school, it was one building. All grades were the same. They were learning the same. Obviously, little kids would be like learning different stuff, and the higher kids would be like older kids would be learning different stuff too. But they were all in the same building. Um, they had textbooks. Like they didn't have no technology, so they had to study. Like they had to study, or they would like fail.
we have more resources for help
And I know you have to study like now, but like it's way much easier than
that we
it was.
need, you know? And way back then, like mental health, that was like, they would put you straight to camp or like some
Exactly.
conversion, stuff like that. But I feel like now there's just more resources. We have the
Exactly.
internet, we have the media. Like we
W
have
girl.
wanted to
W girl.
send a pigeon to your friend instead of texting your friend, like, you know, stuff like that. Like, would you want to have, you know, we just have it easier now.
I feel like it's an in-between thing because I feel like social situations now are much better, but back then they were much worse. I feel like there was racism, teachers could beat their own kids, and I feel like now there's so much things that we cannot do, and I feel like it's for the better.
Damn, why are you up there? Oh, wait, I read it wrong. Wait, no. No, I got it
When I
right.
think about this question, I kind of like went to bullying and how much easier it is to get bullied nowadays, especially on social media. Because it's so easy to hide behind a screen, people say,
Bro. You're talking about one topic. Bullying. You're worried about bullying today from a whole different other things. Okay.
worse things. And I think that mental health, maybe it was just as bad back in the day,
At least the teachers didn't like freaking pull a shotgun on your hands and obliterate it.
but because of social media, it's become more prominent and we see it everywhere. Another thing that I also thought about was you guys say that we have more resources, but don't you, well, you don't have to agree, but I feel that the resources have kind of made us a little less smart. Because we're
Okay. No. I'm gonna say yes, I agree with that. It probably has made us less smart because like we won't take like a lot of time to study like they would.
we're able to look up that, like, the answers to our test, or like, I don't know, everything's just so much more accessible that I'm not really learning as much as like my mom and dad did. So I kind of am like
W.
sad that
Well, not
all our
W, but
resources
I'll
are
give
so
you a
much more
V.
accessible.
You're a
Yeah,
V.
like, I know some dumb, you know? People like, they're like, is it hot outside? And then they'll go to their phone and check the weather. Like, just go outside, you know?
I feel like school right now is so easy for our generation. Like it is so incredibly easy. Like especially now that I'm in senior year. I mean, I'm not taking incredibly hard classes, but like they don't even give you homework because they know you won't do it. Like it's like they would rather have you pass than like teach you something. And like the amount of kids that held back is like nothing. Like it's just, oh, keep going ahead, go ahead, go ahead. And so like seeing like classrooms from like older generations, it seems like, oh, they're like learning, there's more respect to the teachers. Now like there's like such little discipline that every class is just like a muck.
I feel like just because things are easier does not mean it's better.
W again.
My friend goes to college in San Diego, and there's literally a group chat for people in a nursing major just to cheat on the work. And if we're having nurses that don't even know how to like give you medicine, stuff like that, it's scary.
I did want to hit
Scotty.
on how the pandemic impacted you guys.
Yeah, I think it did impact our generation. I know personally, I was always so great at talking growing up, and then going into coronavirus, not really like talking to my friends a bunch and like being kind of like
Coronavirus.
antisocial and to myself. Coming out and having to talk to adults was like terrifying. I didn't want to do it at all. I couldn't even talk to like my peers.
When I went back to school, I felt like I was still in 8th grade in middle school. So it was very hard for me to adjust. And this was definitely like the biggest change like that affected our generation, if you think about it. You know, we didn't deal with the bubonic plague or a big, you know, stuff like that. Like this was the biggest impact. And I remember going back to school, I was so anxious. Like I would take half a Xanax, you know, almost every morning because it was so bad.
There was this day where we could
Nah, that's crazy. Taking a Xanny just to like calm down. That's crazy.
finally take off our mask. And it was so weird seeing everyone, but I never knew what to do with my face. It was just crazy.
I feel ready to explore my sexuality. 3, 2, 1, go.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what that means. Hey, listen, I'm not the brightest person, so like, don't hate on me if I absolute become a Riri. So,
I knew I was gay at a very young age. So I've kind of always been ready or kind of always known. Like I was over here at like 6 years old, like looking at a TV screen and there's like a boy and I was like, he's cute. Like, I was like, yeah, I already knew. So like, I
Yeah.
feel like it just depends what you determine what exploring your sexuality is. Cause at least in my book, I feel like I've already labeled it and I'm already confident and happy with who I am.
Now
That's
it's
good.
very normal to explore yourself. And I think even just like having sex, it's very, very naive for any adult or anyone to ignore the fact that like people are gonna do that. Like it's or people around you are gonna do that. They're gonna talk about it or you're gonna see it on TV and with the internet, like we have access to everything these days. No one is judged like for waiting or wanting to try stuff as long as everyone's being safe. As long as it's consensual, as long as you're okay, there's nothing wrong with it.
I also grew up in a very private Christian school. It was
W?
it was like a bubble, and we didn't talk about all that stuff, but now I attend a high school where we actually have wellness classes. Also, social media helps. Those random accounts on my For You page, they're like, how to kiss a boy or something like that. I don't even know.
What is it, WikiHow?
WikiHow, sure. Like, there's just so many courses, that's why you gotta seek them out and find a support system.
It's kind of like for our whole generation happening earlier and earlier, like where we get introduced to it with like the internet and stuff. I kind of like it to be delayed. I kind of like to be a kid for as long as I can.
But do you feel like people don't take you seriously if you continue to, act younger and like want to be younger?
In the sense of like this question, like sexuality, like I feel like I'd rather, because right now it's like most of the pressure is just like, oh, I feel like I'm so behind because I haven't done this, this, and this
Yeah.
yet, when it should be so normal.
It's important that we do educate ourselves on these topics because
okay, I'm gonna be real. I was not paying attention, so I'm just gonna have to wait till the next section.
once we're older, if we aren't, that could take a turn for the worse. I feel like approaching it naturally or in a professional way, like in terms of like school, if they're providing like health classes, I think that's just the best way to go about it. And I completely agree with you. Like I was also exposed to nasty on the internet and like no one wants to go through that.
I don't think that the school should do it because I think it's really weird. You know, I can never stop laughing personally. Like when I'm in a sixth grader and they say the word scrotum, how are you not supposed to like laugh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's more of a personal endeavor, but I guess not everyone's as smart as me. But I feel like personally, I'd just like to find out on my own and maybe be encouraged by the school. But I don't like the classroom. Let's learn about sex all sitting together as a bunch of teenagers. Like that's awful. That's like the worst thing ever.
I feel safe.
Yeah, I
at
agree with
school.
that.
3, 2, 1, go.
My campus security are amazing. They have a personal relationship with all the students. I've had bomb threats at my school. I've had like shootings literally walking distance down the street where the school had to go on lockdown. It's unfortunate, but also like it just makes me really aware. Like for every classroom, I have what's my hide plan? Who are my people? I don't feel comfortable putting my phone in the phone chart because if something happens, I want to text my family. And that's why COVID like lifted a lot of weight off my shoulders because I didn't have to worry about that all the time. Also, like a lot of people at my school who have mental health struggles, I'm always afraid that like someone won't be properly treated for that and then they'll just snap one day, you know?
My school has had multiple sexual assault scandals. Like my history teacher right now, my world history teacher, if it weren't for the current sub, it would be with basically a pedophile.
Oh, nah, that's
scary. And
crazy.
when she mentioned like the bomb, I remember last year someone created an account with our school name, and it was like shooting or something on this day, and our school ended up canceling school for that day, and it was horrible.
I feel so
Free school
fortunate
day.
to have grown up in a really
Nah, that's
privileged
messed
area
up.
where
My apologies, man. I'm so sorry. That was just
there's
messed
not.
up. I do not condone school shootings. What happened in Nashville recently was sad. Rest in peace to all who lost their life. School shootings should not be a joke at
A
all.
lot of violence. However, I feel like I'd be ignorant to say that a school shooting would never happen, because all it takes is one kid out of the 2,500 students that I have to take a gun to school and shoot people. And I feel like there's so many different openings on my campus where that could happen.
We have gates, but it honestly looks like a prison.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna be real. I know this is like messed up. My school would be kind of the easiest to pew pew up, if you know what I'm saying. My school. Okay, no. I would never do that. I swear to you. I swear on my mom. I would never do anything. Oh shoot! I just digged myself in a hole. Okay, I'm just gonna stop talking on this topic because I would never. I swear on my mom. I would never take someone's life. First of all, in my religion, it's a sin. I would never commit something that sad and sinful in my life. Let's just get back into this video.
That's me
I
too.
won't lie. We have security guards. They're not armed, which was a conversation that came up. Should our security guards be armed? And another conversation came up. Should our teachers be armed? You know, there's just topics like that. I remember this was actually recently, one of the
I think schools should hire like bodyguards or like some like public safety that has like certified in guns, certified military experience or something like that. And don't give teachers guns because I know some crazy ass teachers, man. I mean, I know some crazy teachers that will just pull it out and boom, boom, just one student. If you know what I'm saying. Some of these teachers. I think some teachers take some Molly or something.
old students at the college threatened to shoot up the whole school, and so even we had to go remote. So it's just like never feel safe.
My social media presence is important to me.
Man, I love every single 20. I'm gonna say I think I have. No, I know I have. I have like 29 subscribers on YouTube. I love every single one of y'all. I appreciate y'all for subscribing. I wouldn't say. No, actually, yeah, it's very important to me.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, YouTube is important to me, not like Instagram, Snapchat, and all that stuff.
I don't particularly post, like maybe just on my story, you know, but like I'm not like constantly posting. And if you do, that's perfectly fine. Like that's a lot of people's outlets, and especially creatively.
I don't own a single social media, and like not as like a flex. I'm just saying like I hate the presence of an app in my mind. Like, oh, you should do this. Like it's a
This kid's a W, man. His parents raised him right. He's just a W.
an app on my phone. Like I don't want to give it any part of my life, so I'd just rather not have it.
I think sometimes with social media nowadays, it also can fall into career, which is really weird, but that's like what I do. It's like, oh, I can't post that picture of me like flipping off the camera with my friends because like a college or a future boss, because your digital footprint is so real. But I also I love having social media. Like I've had it for years. I've always like tried to ground myself and realize that it's just for fun. It's not that serious.
There are some people who I know who have like shown or done some really crazy stuff, and it's.
Am I tripping or did the camera just shake? Let's go back.
Of having social media. Like I've had it for years. I've always like tried to ground myself and realize that it's just for fun. It's not that serious.
There are some people who I know who have like shown
I know y'all saw that when it said, oh, no. Okay.
or done some really crazy stuff, and it's spread everywhere. Like there's some things I do not need to know, and people just tell me. Like on Instagram, there's like close friends, and there's like normal story, and I post on close friends so much more than I do on my normal story.
Or like a spam account.
yeah,
I post on my spam account like
Yeah.
way more.
A couple years ago, I would have
Yeah.
been right there, like on the strongly agree, you know, like, because when I moved to the new school, a lot of people were like, oh, how many followers do you have? If you had over 1,000, it's like, yo, you got clout, like, you're good. Digital footprint, that is no joke. Like, everything you post will come back at you. I'm so glad Instagram took off that feature where you could see what other people liked. Do y'all remember that? That was ridiculous.
That's why I'm very aware of what I post. I make sure this is what I want everyone to see.
And yet when
me
you're,
as.
I'm so sorry. When you're a kid, like you want social media, like when you first find out about it, like when I was 9 years old, I was like begging my mom to let me have Instagram. And now like I'm even embarrassed of like the little like selfies I would post because like they're so stupid. So like looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, I would totally never let like my 7-year-old on social media, like, you know, things like that. But I actually did have social media very young.
Yeah, me too.
I got Twitter when I was 6. My mom made it and managed it,
Yeah.
but I would still like, I would tweet about like my little kindergarten like crushes.
You like having your mom like to like.
That, first of all, how did you have a phone at 6? I mean, I didn't get a phone until I was like 10. I know like some people didn't get their phones till like 13, 16. I'm lucky to get my phone at 10. But at 6, what do you need to do? What do you need a phone for? When I was 6, I was like picking boogers out my nose. I was eating crayons, eating paper. I was eating grass. Like I was doing everything a kid was doing.
Guide like the account. I feel like I didn't have that, unfortunately. So I feel like it just depends. Like your digital footprint could be much more harmful. Like when you don't have parents that know how to handle social media or know how to prevent it. Because my parents, they've never used social media. They don't have a single account. So growing up, like begging, I don't think they knew the harmfulness of it. And I don't blame them for that at all. But I feel like that's what led to me being exposed to a lot of stuff. So I feel like definitely with the
Alright, this is gonna be the last thing, because nobody cares for the future. Actually, yes, I do, but this is too long.
new generation, and if I don't know if I'll have kids, but if I do, they're not on social media, at least for me.
When those iPad kids, I mean, those kids who use iPads, it's
My
so
sister's an iPad kid.
addicting. It's so addicting, and you need parental controls because social media is crazy. Like,
Yes, it
or
is.
having your parents run the account, regardless. It's just that's so important.
Or even having influencers like Andrew Tate who are like influencing these
Andrew Tate's a goat. She does not have no gyat no more.
like
Right.
little boys to think that
I can tell he doesn't like that. He is a W. I don't know. I think this dude likes Andrew Tate because I think he just likes Andrew Tate.
mentality is like normal.
Yeah.
I feel like social media has drastically altered my personality, especially during COVID. I feel like if it could change me that much, just imagine a 6-year-old having access to a phone for their basically entire
Thank you. What 6-year-old needs a phone?
childhood. But like honestly, I got so sensitive to being in front of camera that I feel like I kind of forgot about digital footprint and stuff like that.
I have hope for the future.
Wait, so what do you mean by that? Okay. Hope y'all boys and girls had a good day. Peace, adios, amigos.